Welcome in A to Z Sports Prime Time on this Wednesday, December the 11th. We are happy to have you guys in for another episode of the Primetime program. So we're going to switch it up tonight because it's rare that we have this kind of massive NFL news that absolutely is going to dictate coverage around everything in football for the foreseeable future. We're going to talk tonight about Bill Belichick and how he is going to shock the football world by becoming the next head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. It is absolutely shocking to me. I think everybody involved, even though it's been discussed for several days at this point, really did not believe that this was actually a thing that was going to happen. But just like so many other things that you rule out of the realm of possibility because you think they're so insane, this is something that just happened to have the stars aligned in favor of. So we're going to talk about Bill Belichick tonight. We'll work our way through that discussion. We'll talk about what it means for the coaching carousel in the NFL and for the world of college football in particular. And of course, we're happy to have your participation as always. If you're hanging out on Twitter, please retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you are on Facebook Live tonight, you can share now to public. That's in the bottom left hand corner of your screen. If you're on YouTube or Twitch, like I see so many of you are, Zachary Smith says, as a UNC fan, you're welcome. Well, I don't know if you're normally not here, Zachary, but I don't know who's welcome for what. It sounds like you should be the grateful one, if I'm not misunderstanding the situation. But either way, I'm happy for you, I suppose, and I'm happy that you're here. So we'll talk about these things together. Share the broadcast around, like I said, and as you do that, more of you guys will trickle in here, and we'll get going on this Wednesday night. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Zen Sports Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising. I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by the wonderful people at Zen Sports. Download the app, plug in the promo code ATOZTN, get in on all the action. Zensports.com is where you go to get your no danger first wager up to $100. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer, is Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. They'll put you in the best position for the car buying experience, make it faster, easier, and more fun. And of course, TrueMav Fitness in the Gulch. Go to truemavfitness.com, get your first workout free as a Middle Tennessee resident. No workout ever recycled, no workout ever repeated. Just go to truemavfitness.com for your first workout free. All right, so this has been bubbling under the surface for a couple of days now, for the better part of a couple of weeks. And even as you started to hear about Bill Belichick and the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill having mutual interest in each other, you just still didn't think that the six-time Super Bowl champion at 72 years old, who cares so much about tradition in the NFL, about football history, and about his part to play in football history, has just decided that he's not going to pursue the NFL's all-time wins record. He's been hired as the next coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels, and the school officially announced it on Wednesday. You had several people in the lead-up reporting around this. Inside Carolina had the scoop first. It's an excellent scoop by a local outlet from On3 Sports to be able to get this news and to report it with confidence, with sourcing, and with well-thought-out reason and logic as to what was going on inside the building. Six-time Super Bowl champ, never coached at the collegiate level in any capacity, is going to take over the top coaching position on the open market right now. Now, obviously, there will be more jobs that come available, but Bill Belichick has been out there considering his next move. And there are statements that have been made. We'll read those for you here in just a second. Volfan for Life says, this is an only option. He adds, you guys are making a way big deal about this. You mean a way bigger deal about this? Who cares? No NFL team wants him. I don't know. I don't know what his viability as an NFL coach would be, but I know that it doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't matter at all. It's a huge deal. I assume that Volfan for Life, if that's, your passion, you're a Tennessee football fan, this has the potential to be Deion but more refined. Dion, but more strategic. If this goes the way that at least he's planning to have it go, and it could be best laid plans and it not matter, the idea that people would be dismissive of the best coach in NFL history getting ready to come to the college game and getting $20 million a year in NIL collective spending to be able to do what he needs with a roster, to be able to hire NFL people to come be a part of his, not just coaching staff, but his general manager and not front office structure, but it is essentially a front office structure. Mike Lombardi, the former NFL general manager, is going to join him at Chapel Hill. And maybe all this shit falls flat on its face and it isn't worth talking about 6 months, a year, 5 years from now. I have no idea what Bill Belichick is going to be at North Carolina, but I know it's different. I know it's going to change some things in the way that college sports are orchestrated. I know that this man is not coming in here or going in there under any other assumption, but I'm going to be given every level of resource that I require to try and compete at the highest level. And he's already been given a budget next to that of Georgia or Ohio State. North Carolina, Chapel Hill has money. They've just spread it, as Bert pointed out to me earlier, more across their sports rather than dumping it all into the football program. But now if they've decided to be focused with their efforts on the football program, man, I'm an Indiana alum. You're telling me that Bill Belichick can't do something that Curt Cignetti just did? Don't be ridiculous. If you're being dismissive of Bill Belichick coming to the college game, you're completely ignoring all the factors around it. And listen, I think it's easier if you're a Tennessee fan to kind of be dismissive of that. You know why? Because Tennessee was really, really smart on the front end of all this collective stuff, on the mobilization of the money. It's not just because Josh Heupel's a good coach. This was a perfect storm that allowed Tennessee to be restored to relevance. Well, now it's not just about restoring programs to relevance. It's about getting other programs in the game. And it's not just that Bill Belichick is going to be there. Bill Belichick is going to hire people that are going to do the things that a normal college football coaching staff would do, except he's bringing a level of prowess, expertise, marketing, and attention that there's no price point on the amount of additional media coverage that Bill Belichick just brought North Carolina. 3 years, $30 million is a drop in the bucket. They are about to be one of the most covered programs in college football next year. And that alone is worth the risk, potential risk, if you consider Belichick a risk, of bringing in 72-year-old Bill Belichick. I just don't understand how anybody out there could be dismissive of a move like this when you've never seen anything like this in your life. Not once. In fact, I think it's lazy or the easiest possible position to just shrug your shoulders and be like, oh, he's not coaching in the SEC or something like that. What's it matter? No, again, Indiana's in the college football playoff. Arizona State, after Herm Edwards basically took a sledgehammer to it, just turned that entire program around and has a first-round bye. Guys, this is not the traditional college football. I know you understand this for the most part, but that anybody would be as comfortable as being dismissive about this, any kind of dismissive about this, is pretty crazy to me. Because this man didn't just completely forget everything that he knows about the entire history of the sport. He is one of the sport's best historians. And I know that people don't really give a shit about history anymore, or at least we don't act like we do. But still, this man is going to put North Carolina in the best possible position it could possibly be put in as a college football program. I can't get over the idea of this. I mean, now you're just evolving into mouth breather argument because Indiana played who? Buddy, I don't give a shit who Indiana played. I don't give a shit who Tennessee played. I don't give a shit who Penn State played. The point is the atmosphere exists to create a legitimate college football program out of thin air. It doesn't matter who they played. They're in. They won double-digit games for the first time in program history. Indiana football is the losingest program in the history of college football, and they all of a sudden turned around and are in the Final 12. If you are so, I don't know how to. It's not. I'm not calling you stupid, but if you're so thick-skulled that you can't see all the atmospheric stuff around the product on the field and how all of this has been changed by all the money that's being dumped even more into college football. Now that we've essentially created a college football arms race, you're either naive or ignorant to the situation, and you just want to talk about, well, when the Vols play Ohio State on Sunday, they're going to win by 110. I don't give a shit. It's about how you get there. Don't be ignorant about this stuff. I can't stand that logic. I don't know how anybody thinks that way. I don't know how you can ignore all the different things that are going around this that make this one of the most fascinating stories in the history of sports and say, because Indiana played him. I don't give a shit about Indiana's schedule, strength of record, any of that stuff. Shut up. God, banned from commenting for the rest of the evening. What an absolutely inane and idiotic argument. Why is one guy in the chat taking over the entire show? I know it's my fault. I cannot wrap my head around that level of stupid right now. And I'm sorry, I got distracted. We'll be better. On with the show. So, Bill Belichick to North Carolina, going to revolutionize a lot of this stuff. Now, would it be ultimately all for good? I have no idea. Like I said, it could crash to earth like a meteor. But all of this is going to be fascinating to watch play out in real time. And we'll get to see it firsthand as he gets ready to take this job. So I'm going to read you his statement here in just a second. You're also going to hear from Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network, who is reporting on this from NFL owners' meetings. Perhaps Bert will chime in as well. Who knows? He's shirtless. He's ready. He's ready to rock and roll. I think he's still shirtless. I'm not entirely sure. Yep, fleshy and pink still. We're excited about it. All right, so we'll get into that, all of that here in just a second, right after I remind you that the Primetime program is presented by Gary Ashton and the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. Go to GaryAshton.com. Get your dream address without the stress, the intel edge you need to succeed. The official real estate agent of the Nashville Predators. Go to GaryAshton.com for more information. Okay, so with everything that's going on right now, this was the reporting side of it from Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network, talking about this in particular, but also Tom Brady speaking about Bill Belichick in college on the Fox Sports NFL set.
Belichick is actually interviewing for college jobs? Can you imagine him coaching college?
No.
Absolutely not. Recruiting an 18-year-old?
You really want to come here? I mean, we don't really want you anyway, but I mean, I guess you could come. We'll figure out if you play.
Bring your parents and use them as a third party, you're gone. You're off the team. We're direct.
Some scar tissue built up here among these guys. Thanks for joining.
So those are the Foxboroughs. You see what Fox did there. Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and Julian Edelman. Why is Julian Edelman on TV? Also, I'm confused about that. That's very perplexing to me. Are we just doing with those Patriots teams that we did with all the Cowboys teams in the 90s? We're just going to put them all in a booth and see what happens? Okay. Happy for Julian Edelman. Congratulations to him. It's very, very successful, the grift that he's been able to operate. But point being, those guys all played for him and laughed it off, called it ridiculous, did the exact same thing that some of you in the comment section are doing, and yet he's doing it anyway. Bill Belichick also made an appearance with the Pat McAfee show and kind of dissected all the different things that he would need or that he would be bringing if, capital IF in his own words, he was to take this college job, which ultimately he has now taken.
Let me put this in capital letters. If.
Yeah.
IF. If I was in a college program, the college program would be a pipeline to the NFL for the players that had the ability to play in the NFL. It would be a professional program, training, nutrition, scheme, coaching, techniques that would transfer to the NFL. It would be an NFL program at a college level and an education that would get the players ready for their career after football, whether that was the end of their college career or at the end of their pro career. But it would be, geared toward, developing the player, time management, discipline, structure, and all that. That would be life skills, regardless of whether they're in the NFL or in somewhere in business. And I feel very confident that I have the contacts in the National Football League to pave the way for those players that would have the ability to have the opportunity to compete in the National Football League. Whether they're good enough or not, I don't know, but they would be ready for it. I don't have any doubt about that. So that would be the first comment that I would make, relative to the structure of the program. It would be an NFL program, but not at the NFL level.
Yeah, which is quite a benefit to have the guy that ran the dynasty.
No doubt.
In the middle of this entire thing. Bill, listening to you lay that out, I just thought of every NFL guy's son. Okay, everybody that's ever been in the NFL that has a son that's in there, like Bill Belichick's offering up a one-way trip to how we're doing life. Yeah, We can go. Any expatriate that has a kid, obviously, over all those years, I assume they're going to be like, hey, need you to get my boy right. That's going to be, that's a big part of like college, though. It used to be development, Now it's like a big difference. And if you find the right guys, you can build it. And if you got the resources, you can do it anywhere, especially at a P4 program.
Again, Pat nailed it. If you have the resources, you can do it anywhere. Do not be dismissive of this situation. You do it at your own detriment. And if North Carolina finds themselves competing for an ACC championship in an ACC that was a train wreck this year, or potentially competing for a college football playoff spot, because remember, they're probably going to expand the field next year. It's never been, I'm not going to say that it's never been easier to make the college football playoff. It's literally never been easier. The field has never been more attainable than it is right now. So Bill Belichick is getting in at the exact right time. We will go to ACC truther Robert Walsh here in just a second, right after I remind you that the primetime program is presented. A rare Burt on a Wednesday appearance. Shirtless or not, your guess is in the comment section, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or on Twitch. Well, I remind you that the primetime program is made possible by Zen Sports with a great offer that Zen Sports brings you, because they picked the grand prize winner for the November big game sweepstakes, but they've got one going on in December too, with a grand prize of $10,000 cash and 2 tickets to the biggest college football game of 2025 and the ability to earn entries on every bet you place in December. So potentially, if the University of Tennessee is in this college football finale, you could win 2 tickets and $10,000 cash from Zen Sports. If you don't win the grand prize, don't worry. You'll also have a shot to win one of 10 smaller prizes, which grant you $1,000 towards any college playoff game in 2025. So what are you waiting for? Head to zensports.com/sweepstakes for a full list of rules and earn a $100 no danger first wager on that first bet. Zen Sports, where betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. No danger first wager limited to plus 500 odds to qualify. Terms and conditions apply. A qualifying wager for a wager entry must have minimum odds for any leg in the entry of that at least minus 250 or worse. American odds must be 21 plus and in the state of Tennessee to bet at zensports.com/sweepstakes. All right, Zen Sports with an excellent offer. Promo code ATOZTN. With everything that's going on right now, Keith Thomas says Mike Vrabel will be his defensive coordinator. No, I almost said a bad word. No, to hell with that. Why wouldn't Mike just do the same exact thing somewhere else? You don't think Ohio State's going to be wide open if Ryan Day shits the bed against the Vols? Of course it's going to be. Mike Vrabel could do the exact same thing at the exact same caliber of program, if not bigger. A lot of these NFL coaches with certain pedigree are going to be able to do the same. So with that, we will welcome in a level of expertise that I do not possess. Rare am I willing to outsource that to Robert Walsh. Shirtless or not, the coin flip is yours. Let's find out together. What do you got, Bert?
Yeah, I'm actually excited there's something I can talk about with my nuts behind it, because I can talk about the rest of this stuff, but for any of you that are unfamiliar, I grew up in North Carolina. I grew up around the Big Four: Wake Forest, Duke, NC State, UNC. So this is something that actually gets me excited, because I hate UNC. I despise them. They've always been the big brother to my university, ECU. So anytime they do something like this, I would normally meet it with hatred. But this is so stinking cool to see how the college game is changing with it. I think before, if NIL wasn't a thing, Bill Belichick would not be a coach in college. He would have stayed in the NFL. This opened the doors for a legendary coach to come make what I believe to be a huge impact in not just North Carolina football, but the ACC, the evaluation of the brands of the ACC for further expansion to other conferences. But I do want to start with what he said on the Pat McAfee show. I've seen a lot of people making like analogies or directions to he'll never win anything over there. Why would he win shit? Why would Bill go over there and do anything? I don't think he said anywhere in that statement that they would be a powerhouse win factory of a football team. If I had to guess, if I was going to compare them to a program, I would compare it to, look, and you see it here from Ollie Connolly. Despite people who yesterday were saying, this guy's full of shit, there's nothing behind this, it's not true, he puts it out. Bill's Bible would record historic levels of investment from the school. People were wondering about their NIL situation. How are they going to scrape that money together? So North Carolina has always been in, if you guys are unfamiliar, the Gatorade Top School Program. So they take every sport. It's always Stanford, Texas, Tennessee. They are spread so thin for opportunities sports-wise on both sides of the ball for both genders. They just won a national championship for their women's soccer program. Their field hockey program is excelling with a 25-year-old coach. They have money spread out everywhere. But we had reporting today from Jonathan Jones of CBS. The expectation is that NIL at UNC will be upwards of $20 million for Bill Belichick's program. There will be as many as 30 new staffers as well. Massive commitments from Carolina to the new head coach and his program. So to me, he is staying true to what he said on the Pat McAfee show. It is going to be a pipeline of the NFL. He's going to prepare kids. If winning is not necessarily secondary to you, but if your overall goal is to be an NFL player for 4 to 6 years because you love playing this game and you want to play it at the highest level, and especially if you're a defensive player, why would you not want to go play for Coach Belichick? They have a 5-star defensive tackle in the transfer portal named Travis Shaw. Why would he not go to Travis Shaw and say, you know who Vince Wilfork is? You know that fat guy that wore overalls? You know why he had such a good career? Because I'm a freaking genius. I don't know if he'll be a genius at the NFL or at the college level, but at the bare minimum, it looks like this will be a lot of fun.
No, I mean, but the whole point that I was trying to make on the radio show today, Bert, is that he can help write the rules to all this stuff. He is going to be able to, he's going to have the opportunity to fill a void that Saban left. Now, I understand that Saban had more credibility at the college football level than Bill Belichick, who's never been at the collegiate football level. I completely understand that. But if you had to find somebody in this giant void that this person on television who used to run the entire show and be essentially the ambassador of college football to all mankind, if you had to find somebody to fill his shoes, you just go get his best friend, and the two of them are going to have some level of communication at the highest levels of scrutiny, one on the college game day desk, still sitting in an office in Alabama in Tuscaloosa somewhere, the other at Chapel Hill, basically revolutionizing, or at least starting the process of revolutionizing college football into what is going to be more than ever a condensed version of the NFL feeder system that's going to provide direct pipelines that he's talking about, as opposed to, general education majors and all these other things, and trying to find people who there still needs to be some level of participation at every level for people who are not destined to be NFL players, right? But if we're trying to mainstream this thing and find the best of the best and create the best level of competitiveness in college football, this is exactly the process that it has to go by. Don't tell me that it's not professional football. It is. It's just a version of it that has less rules and regulations. So who's better with less rules and regulations to swoop in and try and change things up than Mr. Spygate himself? Come on.
And we get Chef Rand here. Respectfully, he says, but I think he's going to leave to chase that record. I don't give a shit.
Maybe.
So who cares? And if he does, he's going to do it with an elevated program, because you think an NFL team's going to hire him as anything besides an analyst if this isn't a success? This is a gamble for Bill. But I trust Bill in taking this gamble. Somebody said, fun. Have you ever seen a Bill Belichick press conference?
Well, that is such a stupid comment.
Yes, I have. And if you think that's the most fun part of football, then you need to find a new freaking sport to watch. Because I could give a shit what anybody says at a freaking press conference. Who cares? I care about the games, the conversation around it, how he impacts recruiting, how he impacts. Another side story for you. NC State hates UNC to the point, and it's not just their fans, it's their coaches. The head coach at NC State, Dave Doran, has said multiple times that he takes great disrespect with the way that NC State is talked about by other in-state schools. I can't wait to hear the discourse between Dave Doran. Do you see what they had to do to get kids to go to UNC? They had to bring in Bill Belichick. I'm the same guy. I've been here for 7 years. I can't wait to see it. The other discourse that I've seen about this is, he's not going to win anything. He's not going to win shit. Again, I say, who gives a shit? Who cares if he doesn't win anything? I want to go through North Carolina's last Since 2010, do you know how many bowl games they have won?
One since 2010. I'm going to guess 3.
3 is correct. They have won 3 bowl games, 1 in the last 6 years. They have got – if Bill has a moderate success, if he has 8 wins and it's a fun season, they're throwing wine and cheese parties every freaking Saturday. They would be ecstatic to be sniffing an ACC championship after the mid-level of competition they've had the last few years. You can be my side piece. That's kind of how
I've never been happier to not talk. This is delightful. I've been looking for somebody. I'm so glad that we don't have to talk about the damn Tennessee Titans tonight.
Tomorrow we will. Tomorrow we will.
This evening. Tomorrow we're back to the salt mines, but tonight, baby, we're living. I've never been happier to be a human being side piece. I'm fine to just sit back and listen. I'm enjoying it.
A side piece is kind of how I think people are looking, or at least how I'm looking at Bill Belichick. Everyone's like, he's not going to win anything. He's not going to stay. He's not going to call you. He doesn't care about your kids. I don't care. He's got a big one, and he's coming over tonight, baby. Like, that don't bother me that he ain't going to be here. It don't bother me that he's talking to my neighbor. It don't bother me that I got to pay him extravagant money, even though he ain't proved me nothing in the relationship. That's fine. I need some action. That's why I'm here. That's where that $20 million is here, because we need some action. People are complaining. ACC just got their ass kicked in the ACC-SEC challenge. You don't think that they want to have some kind of thrill right now while Chapel and turn it into Chapel thrill again when football was good, when Julius Peppers was there, when they had first-round draft picks? Come on. Come on.
It's Chapel thrill when you've got
Chapel Bill, baby. Chapel Bill. I got one more thing to bitch about, and I'm getting out of here. Is that cool?
Yes, that's fine.
Wait.
A to Z Sports Primetime is made possible by TrueMap Fitness in the Gulch. Go to TrueMapFitness.com for your first workout free. You think that man doesn't work out? Look at him. He is a fine specimen, a red-blooded American male, and the only way that you can have that kind of physique, I can't believe we're advertising TrueMap this way, is to go to TrueMapFitness.com. Your first workout is free as a Middle Tennessee resident. No workout ever recycled or repeated. Now back to the Burt Show.
I just want to hit on this because I wanted to holler about this earlier, and you bitched at me about not doing it on the show.
Yes.
There's been a lot of reporting around the conversation of hiring Bill Belichick, that the board of trustees at Carolina were not in agreement on who they wanted to hire. That some of them wanted to keep Mac Brown, and they were loyal to the Mac Brown system. Some people wanted something exciting and new. And I think it was Stephen Godfrey who tweeted, "This search was compared to me to the Tennessee coaching search in 2017, which really hit here." Everybody was like, "Oh, it must suck. Oh my God, I remember how bad that was. Damn, that was terrible." But it's like, oh, the board can't agree on who they want to hire. I don't know if any of y'all are important enough to be in board meetings, but that's the whole reason for a board. They're not supposed to agree. They're supposed to combat each other's ideas to find the best solution. Oh, okay, it was a shitty coaching search. Well, it ended up with Bill Belichick. I don't care you know what? We had some casualties in this coaching search. We had to get rid of some board members. Sayonara. See you later. We don't need you. Have fun at NCAA games. It makes no sense. This was a convoluted coaching search. Well,
NCAA is such a great line for you to drop.
So some people, maybe the coaching search was a disaster. Maybe they'll suck, but you know what? We're all going to watch, and it's going to be better for business. It's going to be better for college football. And I'm excited about it.
Did you have a reason to care about Colorado football before Deion Sanders?
Hell no! Besides the damn Buffalo! The Buffalo was the coolest part!
It's the Buffalo and Miss Peggy, and now they are a national brand. Bill Belichick is the exact same thing. If it works, great. If it doesn't, great. We're all along for the ride. And it makes North Carolina football more interesting than it's ever been in its entire existence in the history of the program, full stop. And that's all that's getting accomplished here. Thank you, Bert.
Hey, no problem, buddy.
Okay, well done. That just made my life a lot easier. But it's good stuff. Bert understands the lay of the land there, and the insider reporting out of North Carolina has been excellent. They were ahead of everybody. Rap Sheet Schefter, all the normal insiders were days behind Inside Carolina because the pulse on that athletic department has always been a fascinating one. They have so many different high-profile athletic programs, including the basketball team, of course. But now they're getting into the football game. Now they're getting into the real money game, understanding where all of this stuff is trending, and they're doing it with the greatest coach in the history of professional football. It's awesome. It's simply awesome at this point. All right, we'll do a little rising and falling. We'll call it a night here on the Primetime program. Whose stock rose? Whose stock fell this week in sports? We'll talk about it right after I remind you that the Primetime program is made possible by, actually, I don't think we have to tell you who the Primetime show is made possible by. I think we told you all the Primetime presenting sponsors. What?
Someone asked, well, how much would it cost to sponsor Bert's Chest? This segment is brought to you by Bert's Chest. I didn't even tell you the video I pulled for this, but Netflix, following the disaster that was the Paul Tyson fight, has done nothing but put out bangers. They have another huge hill to cross at the end of the year with their first NFL game, and then at the beginning of the next year with the live broadcasting of Monday Night Raw every single week, part of that $2 billion acquisition by Netflix. So two big things they have on the horizon. But one thing that they have been doing, I believe better than anybody else, is documentaries. What is, if you had to say, the first shock jock daytime television show, who would you think when I say that?
Oh, Jerry Springer.
Jerry frickin' Springer.
After this, I'm never talking about this show ever again.
Jerry Springer!
I don't think anybody knew how crazy this show was going to be.
I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize for everything I've ever done. I have ruined the culture.
At the beginning of 1992, Jerry Springer was coming to Chicago to launch a talk show.
We were this little band of crazy people just trying to survive the week.
All I had to do was convince him, let's make it wild.
Variety show and a weekly magazine compare the fights to pro wrestling.
Teeth were knocked out.
It really was the modern version of the Roman Coliseum.
Springer's the first talk show host ever to knock Oprah Winfrey off her throne as the queen of daytime talk.
He became a cultural icon.
I want the show to demonstrate outrageousness, yes.
The bigger that show got, it raised questions about what really went on backstage.
The producers were coaching us on what to say and how to act. They weren't interested in what kind of impact it was going to have on you.
I don't think my mother had any idea what she was walking into.
Some stories went too far.
I'm a man who married his horse and wants to come on the show.
This kind of trash television will not be towered.
I just wish they could go back and say to her, don't do it.
This was the most vile and grotesque freak show that's ever been on television.
We just started pushing the needle towards red. Let's see how far we can push it.
I would hope that you would feel some sense of responsibility.
It's a television show. It's a television show. We will all survive it.
I'm so excited for that.
Dude.
If I ever got married, one of the things that I wanted to do is take my bachelor party to the Jerry Springer show. Like that was like, we used to talk about that shit in college, that we would take somebody's bachelor party would be at a Jerry Springer show. And then Jerry died after he did the whole Judge Jerry thing. Jerry.
Fights, camera, action, dude. That does my wordplay heart so good. Fights, camera, action. Can't wait for that. Inspired a ton of shows to try to do the same thing he did. Could not do it at the same level. And obviously there were some skeletons in the closet. So 2-part series coming to Netflix. They have been killing the documentary game. Yeah. I am so excited to watch.
The Mr. McMahon one that you recommended to me was excellent. And I'm not a pro wrestling fan like that. That honestly, there's so much stuff that sports. This is why when people say, well, stick to sports. Sports is culture, baby. Sports is just a microcosm of everything that we got going on as a society. And you can find out everything that you need to know about the American populace if you just figure out what they're watching or what they're Googling on a regular basis. And a lot of times it's Jerry Springer and the WWE. God, it felt so good to not do a Titans show tonight.
I had a lot of fun. Appreciate you letting me fool around with you.
I did too. I don't know if anybody watched it, but we had fun tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Primetime program. We'll resume your regularly scheduled Titans content, I suppose. Tomorrow from 10 to 1 on 104.5 The Zone, we'll have one more primetime show to do. Obviously, the Titans eliminated from the playoffs, so they've got a little less luster than they might otherwise have, but it is an interesting game, an interesting dynamic with the Bengals coming to town. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Brian Callahan did a lot of talking about both of those individuals and that organization today, and you'll hear all of that tomorrow. See you guys then, 10 a.m., 104.5 The Zone.
Go home! Go home! Go home! You're embarrassing Nashville!